Welcome back to Black Girl Confessions. This is the podcast where we say the quiet things out loud. Now let's get one thing out of the door straight away. Let's clear one thing up. I did have a little bit of a hiatus that was unplanned. It wasn't scheduled. It wasn't a scheduled break. It was by accident. I will be completely honest with you. I had loads of episodes filmed. Well, I had 2 episodes filmed and they were completely with no sound. No sound whatsoever. I tried to revive it. I tried to fix it. I tried to do what I could, and I could what I did, and nothing worked. So we took a break. But in that break, I'll be completely honest with you, I really had a massive thing. And I think this episode is going to be a little bit different. It's gonna be just you and me talking about things that are near and dear to my heart and what I envision for this podcast and the brand that I'm building and what I want to do. And it's a bit more, I don't know, it's a bit more touchy-feely, it's a bit more emotional, it's cute, just stick with it. And this episode is different. So I took some time out. I took the 2 weeks that I had basically to just really think where I see this going, what I want to do with this, what I sort of want to achieve with this. And I think that was a really difficult question to ask myself, because I think it started off first as like a cute little podcast where I can come on and talk shit and trash men, and we can talk about people's deepest, darkest secrets, people's confessions, and we can just air their laundry, and it was going to be a cute kiki. And I've had people near and dear tell me, like, is this what you want to do? I've had people say, is this the direction that you want to go in? You know, the rage baiting, the clickbait, the saying silly things online, because, you know, everything that you post online truly will stay on forever. The digital footprint does not die. Like, that's something that was drilled into me as a kid from like a really young age. And I am painfully aware of that. So I think this episode, we're really going to talk about why I wanted to do BGC, why I wanted Black Girl Confessions, why I wanted a platform like the one that I have now, what I want to do with it, what I see for this podcast, where I want to go with it, you know, what longevity do I think I have with what I'm currently doing. And I think let's break it down, let's talk about it, and let's really get into the nitty gritty and the origin of Black Girl Confession, because I feel like I just started and we started talking about people's confessions, so we started rage baiting and we started doing all the fun things that you see on TikTok, but I just don't think that's strategically going to work long term, you know. So I feel like we need to rein it in, we need to assess, and then we need to redeliver. And that's what we're doing. So let's get into it. I think a huge element in wanting to do Black Girl Confession, a huge element or a huge component in wanting to start something like this, was mainly because I love watching podcasts. Like, it is my main source of entertainment. I don't really listen to music. Like, music's not my thing. So like, if I'm doing anything, like, I want to stick on a podcast. And what I really realized is I don't see people that look like me, that sound like me, that, you know, are visibly Muslim like me, talking about the things that I like to talk about, that I like to think about. Like, I enjoy having raunchy, funny, slightly salacious conversations. Like, I love it through and through. I am a woman. I love to discuss things. I love to talk about people, not in like a gossipy, rude way, but like in a way where I just, you know, sharing information. Is that gossiping? Maybe. But we'll get into that in a minute. So what I really realized is there isn't anybody that is like me doing what I enjoy doing. And it really made me think, okay, well, if there's a space for that, you can 100% just kind of scooch in, shuffle in, and take that space. Take the space that you want to be filled with somebody that looks like you, and really take ownership of that. And that's sort of the idea of Black Girl Confessions, having a platform where you can talk about the things that you want to talk about, where you can say the things that you've always wanted to say, and where you hear the things that you've always wanted to hear from people that look like you. Now, I don't think that race is a huge component in this. I don't think it should be a huge component. I don't think religion should be a huge component. It's nice to see representation. You know, it's nice to see that somebody that looks like you is accurately represented in the areas of media that you like to watch. But this is sort of the downfall of thinking you want to start something new. The idea of copying and making sure that, you know, it's going to be the best starts straight away. Like, right out the gate, I was like, right, I want Black Girl Confessions to be the best it can be. I want Black Girl Confessions to be the biggest podcast in the world, which is great, which is the ambition that you need to have. But I immediately started to look at all of the other podcasts that are already out there, right? I would go on Spotify, I would go on Apple Music, and I would go on all of these different platforms, as well as TikTok as well. Like, I'd go on every single social media platform and I would look at people's podcasts. I would look at what it is that they're doing. I would look at how they film, I would look at their topics, I would try and basically copy a winning formula. But that is not my formula. I would try and copy what they're doing. I would try and record in a similar way. I would try and talk about similar topics. I would try and rage bait the same way. I would cover everything that they cover, hoping I would get the same results, hoping it would propel me in the same direction it did for them. But that's not what Black Hole Confessions is. That's not who I am. That works for them, which is absolutely great. And I love that it is so successful for them. But it's not me. It's not Black Hole Confessions. It's not what I'm about. It's not what I enjoy doing. Yes, the topics are probably going to be similar because I love those topics as well. But I need to have my own take on it. You know, it needs to have me in there, like a bit of BGC is me and I am BGC, right? So BGC can't coexist without me and I can't coexist without it, only because it's based on my stories, my confessions, my takes on the world, the worldly affairs, and then draw in other people's opinions and take other people's confessions into the mix, but don't make it all about other people and their problems and dragging people and naming and shaming and all of that. That's not the aim of Black Hole Confessions. And I feel like I really started off on the wrong foot with looking at what other people are doing and really wanting to copy them. That formula, that blueprint works for them. Now, don't get me wrong, I got the rage bait that I wanted, I got the virality that I wanted, I got the clicks, I got the views, but I'm using somebody else's blueprint. It's not what BGC is supposed to be. It's not what I want to for this podcast. It's not what I envision. So it doesn't work in the long run because it's not the same. It really isn't the same. I very quickly realised that when I build BGC from the ground up and I use somebody else's formula and I use somebody else's vision and I use somebody else's blueprint, I am living somebody else's life. This is no longer my podcast. I am suddenly shrinking myself, my ideas, my thoughts, my confessions and my takes in order to make it more palatable for other people, because I feel like that is what worked for them. That is what this so-called audience wants, and this is what they want to see from me. So I'm going to have to deliver that, but that's not me. Suddenly this podcast is a completely different podcast. I am living somebody else's life. I am doing somebody else's podcast. I am enjoying a success that was never meant for me because this is not what I wanted initially. And I think it really does come down to thinking that my ideas aren't good enough, right? My ideas aren't strong enough to make it on their own. So I need to draw in other people's opinions. I need to have clickbait titles. I need to rage bait men. I need to cuss people out. I need to name and shame. And I need to be really messy to have that virality. And I don't need that. My topics are enough. I am enough. BGC is enough. We have enough ideas to keep this going for a long time. I have a very clear vision for the brand that I'm building. I know exactly what I want to achieve. And I think I need to really stand 10 toes down in that. I need to be really confident in the concept that I have. I need to be really confident in what it is that I want to build. And I need to be confident in what I'm saying on my podcast. Otherwise, it's not mine. And with BGC, I really want to create a space where you can confess what you want to confess, where you can say the quiet things out loud, where you can talk about those inner thoughts that you've always had. It's a safe space for women to come with their dilemmas, where we dissect it all, where we get to the root of the problem instead of just naming and shaming the problems and the peoples, where we talk about why certain things happen, why repeat patterns are in our life, what we can do to sort of eliminate those patterns, what we can do to sort of spot those patterns early on, what are the warning signs, all of the good stuff that you've always wanted to see on a platform from somebody that looks like me is exactly what we'll be doing within this platform. And I am so excited to actually get to that point. Now that we've identified, we don't need to use somebody else's blueprint. We don't need to use somebody else's formula. We're good. We're enough. And BGC will do it. Period. Let's pivot slightly. We're not here to just talk about what makes us angry, right? We're not here to talk about all of the affairs in the world that pisses us off, that we're not happy with. We're not here to be Debbie Downers 24/7. We want to talk about all kinds of things. We want to talk about love and happiness and sex and mental health and all of the great things that happen in our lives on a daily basis. That's what we want to talk about. We don't just want to talk about the areas that are lacking in our life. We don't want to talk about all of the negative things and harp on those. No, don't get me wrong. We will be talking about those things. We'll be talking about why things happen for a reason. And like I said, these repeat patterns, these repeat offenders in our life, we will be discussing those. we will be talking about those things, and we will be talking about why there are certain patterns, how we can spot those, how we can eliminate them, and how we can overcome that. But I think I want this platform to be a lot more than just Debbie Downers talking about all the things that are going wrong in their life. I want it to be a space where we can just air out everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful. We get to celebrate all of it. We get to celebrate the downfalls, we get to celebrate the ups, we get to celebrate the mess, when you're not feeling it. And don't get me wrong, I have been in those places 100%. And I think that's probably another thing that really pushed me to do Black Girl Confessions. And it's this new word that I've learned, because I didn't know it had a word, to be honest. It's when you have so much going on in your life and you just feel nothing. You are kind of numb. You're busy with work, you're busy with life, you're busy with everything else in your life, the ups, the downs, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything that's going on. But when somebody asks you how you do, and you're like, I'm okay, you're meh, like you don't have a particular feeling towards anything. You don't have that zest for life. You don't want to do things. You don't want to go out of your way to, see friends. Like, you just have no joy. You don't feel sad. You don't feel angry. You feel nothing. You are completely numb to things. Things that are supposed to make you happy don't make you happy. Things that are supposed to make you sad, you don't feel anything towards. And I think I have been in that position. I have been in a place where so many things are going through my life. And I think I was at that point when I finished my master's, and you've just completed something that was really tough, that was really big. You've been working on it for a whole year, and it's finally done, and you're supposed to know what you're doing next with your life, right? You're supposed to know what you're doing after this achievement, and you don't know. You feel meh. You're not excited for what's coming next because you're just confused. And I think that's the state that a lot of us are in, that I think we need to talk about all the time. Is when you're functioning, you're working, you're in school still, but you have no feelings towards anything. You're just completely numb. It has a clinical term, and it's called anhedonia. You just are completely numb towards things that aren't supposed to make you feel numb. You're supposed to feel feelings towards, if that makes sense. And don't get me wrong, I suffered with that for quite a while. Now, it's self-diagnosed, don't get me wrong, I didn't go anywhere, didn't speak to anybody about it, but it's definitely something that I struggled with. It's definitely something that I have felt, something that I have struggled with and experienced myself. And I think that's kind of spurred me on to figure out what I wanted to do for a long time. It made me think, what do you want from life? Because you've got a bachelor's degree, you've got a master's degree, right? You've done all of the things you needed to do. You've excelled in a lot of areas. Now you need to really figure out what you want to do, where you want to take this direction of life in. And I think feeling so numb made me realize that, okay, I want to pick up podcasting. I want to pick up content creation. I want to start to do things that are probably not so black and white, that are more creative, and that's why I've finally just decided to pick up the camera and just go and do it. But long story short, we took a massive pivot there. That's exactly why and what I want BGC to be for other people, because it is for me. I do want to stress that the main components of BGC will stay the same. Don't get me wrong. We are going to talk about the messy things. We are going to get raunchy. We are going to talk about men that disappoint us. All of those components stay. We're just not going to rage bait, which we're not just going to bash men for no reason, but we are going to talk about the disappointments in life. And don't get me wrong, they're a very disappointing gender. I stand by that. I 100% stand by that. They have a lot of privileges that we as women don't get, and we're going to be dissecting that. So I don't want you to think that what BGC is and the foundation of BGC is changing, because it's absolutely not changing. It's staying the exact same. I think the formula is going to be different, right? The substance of it all is going to be changing slightly, but what it's built on, the core principles of BGC, they're still going to be there. We will still name and shame, and we will drag if we need to, if it's necessary, just not for funsies. And I want everybody to come onto this journey with me, right? I feel like the listeners, the people that, submit confessions, the ones that write in, that send DMs, I want you to be an integral part of this. I want you to be what shapes Black Girl Confessions, right? You're not just background noise. You're not just people that send in random stuff. I want you to be the voices in the room with me. This is as much as my space as it is everybody else's. I feel like everybody will play an integral part in this. I feel like we will all be able to create what I want BGC to be, we'll all be able to create a space that we all desire and want to see so much. Because truly and really, what really stopped me from actually doing this the way I want to do it for a long time is, oh, but what if people don't want to listen to me? What if they don't want to hear what I have to say? What if they don't want to listen to this particular podcast because of the way I look, the way I sound, because of what I'm saying? And then I had this light bulb moment. I started this podcast and I wanted to create a space purely because I could see that there was no podcast. There was nobody that looked like me, sounded like me in spaces that I like to watch, in spaces within media that I like to watch, that are saying what I'm saying. So I took it upon myself to take up this space to say what I want to say, purely because I saw that nobody else was doing it. And I think starting something that you've always wanted to do is incredibly scary, because the internet is a scary place. You're going to be perceived by a lot of people. You don't know whether they're going to like what you have to say, but you're going to have to just get on with it. And I think that's super scary, but also quite exciting. What's the vision for Black Girl Confessions, right? What do I see when I close my eyes? What do I feel when I talk about Black Girl Confessions? Where do I want this to go? I see it going far beyond me just talking in a mic into a camera by myself in a room. I see this being live events where we come together and we share stories, where we talk about the things that are left unsaid because we felt like we couldn't say those things out loud, because we felt like our communities weren't really accepting of the things that we're feeling and thinking, or you've never been in a space before where you felt free enough to say those things that you've been told you needed to have left unsaid, really. I see it going beyond me. I see it being us. I see it being us at meet and greets. I see it being us in events where it isn't me just talking at you. It's a conversation. It's dialogue. It's a discourse between multiple people. I see it being newsletters being sent out bi-weekly where we highlight specific charities or organisations that we feel that are near and dear and that deserve the spotlight. I see it us being celebrated. I see me celebrating listeners that share some really inspiring stories. I see it being truly a community that we have built together from the ground up, and it's not just me being in a chair where I just say things at you and you just take it. I want it to really feel like a close-knit community where we do things together, where we talk about things that are near and dear to our heart, and where we feel like we are all in the boat together, right? Your voices aren't, like I said, background noise. We bring those voices inside the room with us and we talk about it together. Truly, I have always said, oh, I wish I saw somebody that looked like me, that talked like me, that sounded like me, and talk about the things that I like to listen to, that talks about pleasure and love and relationship and marriage and heartbreak and grief and mental health and work and disappointment, the highs and the lows. And the irony is I could have been that person for myself a long time ago, but I feel like you work on a divine timing. You will only do something when you are ready for it. And now I'm truly ready, and now I'm sat in the chair and I am filming what I've wanted to see in the space that I've wanted to see it for a very long time, and I am filling that gap, and I think that's pretty cool. I think I have to commend myself for that, because it took a long time to get here. Really did. More than anything, I trust my instinct. I trust where I want to take this. I trust that I have it within me to talk about the things that I want to talk about. I don't need to rely on the algorithm. I don't need to rely on rage bait, on clicky things, on clickbait. I don't need to rely on talking trash about men. I don't need to rely on all of those things, because this is a movement that we're starting. I think this is only the beginning of the success of BGC, and I think you'll be seeing BGC everywhere. I have told you want to be here from the very beginning, and I'm so excited. Let's dive into the confession part, the best part, the juiciest part of the podcast. And this will be my very own confession. I will take the stage today and I will confess. Forgive me, Father, for I have fucking sinned. Let's get into it. This personal confession, I think, is a funny one, because it really just goes to show how much you will push dreams aside, how much you will not do what you need to do for yourself because you're scared to be perceived, scared to be judged, scared to be made fun of, scared to be seen trying and failing so publicly, right? So I can honestly tell you that I've been wanting to do content since 2020. It's been 5 years. Well, we're going into the 6th year because the year's nearly done. So it's been almost 6 years of me wanting to try to be an influencer, try to do content, try coming up with concepts. And the funny thing is, I am creative. I have what it takes. I can come up with incredible ideas. I can execute it. But what was stopping me? Fear of being seen, fear of being perceived, fear of being seen publicly trying and failing and people taking the piss out of me. And don't get me wrong, to a certain degree that did happen. To a certain degree, people have said, oh my God, are you like trying to be an influencer? Like you're not getting enough likes. Like all of that has happened, but I've managed to tune that out. I've managed to just stop that. And I think I had to take the path that I took to be here now and to be ready. And I think it's what needed to happen because now I'm fully confident. I know what I'm doing. I think my creativity has grown. I know exactly what path I need to follow. I know what I need to do. But it wasn't easy getting here. It was not easy getting here. And I think what's really confirmed it for me that I am where I really need to be, and now is the time for me to do this, is because when I did start my podcast, I had people that didn't comment on it, that never said anything, that never liked anything, that probably have sent it to each other and people have made fun of it, I'm sure, behind my back, but I don't care. I also received support from people that I didn't think I was going to receive support. I received support from co-workers that I used to work with, people that I haven't spoken to in a really long time, people that have DM'd me saying, this is a great idea, I love what you're doing. It's so needed. I think it's so cool to see you actively following your dreams. And that literally gives me goosebumps just saying it out loud, because it just confirms and reaffirms for you that following your dreams, yes, it's scary, but go ahead and do it. Who fucking cares? Who cares that you've picked up the camera and you started videoing yourself? Like, who actually cares? If they care, they are so weird. Why do you care? Like, it's not you that's doing it. It costs you nothing to see me do it. Ignore it if you want. If you don't want to see me do anything, ignore it. Go live your life. You don't have to watch me do anything. But having and receiving support from places and people that are so unlikely and you didn't think was going to happen just really reaffirms and confirms for you that, yes, you're doing the right thing. Keep going, sweetie. You are nailing it. I want to hear your confessions, right? I have a website, blackoutconfessions.com, where you can send your confessions in. I want to hear what you think about the podcast, what you think about the website, what you think about the social media pages. You can email me at hello@blackoutconfessions.com. You can DM me on Instagram, which is blackoutconfessionspod, or you can DM me on TikTok. It's blackoutconfessions. You can submit your confessions. We have a whole submission page. You can, like I said, email me again. I'm just reiterating all of these things because I want to hear from you. I feel like having my listeners and the people that send in confessions, the people that send in what they want to talk about, your dilemmas, is what's going to make the podcast what it really is. It's what the podcast is going to be built on. The foundation of it all will be you guys. It'll be your voice. It'll be what you want to discuss, what you want to dissect, what you want to celebrate. So if you're ready to join a community, a podcast, a movement, a gang, if you will, dare I say we might be a gang. If you're ready to join that, you know what to do. Hit the like button, subscribe. We're on YouTube, we're on Spotify, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok. We're not on Twitter because Twitter is a scary place. X is a scary place. We're not on there. I'll never be on there. You can find me on my website, blackoutconfessions.com. Give me all the love. Give me all the support. Let's do this. And as always, I will see you fuckers next Monday. Bye.